back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're finally installing axles in the GT500. I tried out the Spicer axles, didn't fit. Long story short, one was too short, one was too long. They're meant for a different offset in the rear diff. Not sure what's up with that, but I had to send them back. And I went ahead and got Mosers instead. So looking at the Moser right off the bat, the thing they advertise is having a straight cut without any kind of like this thing going on. They're made of a stronger material. Looking at the gear teeth, you can see they're a lot longer splined. Not that it really matters too much, but you can kind of see where it actually catches the diff is this section here. Probably about the same there. They do look to be in pretty good shape, which is good. About $400 for the axles. I do want to measure a couple things though. So right here, this gap looks to be a lot slimmer than this gap, but I suspect by the time this one and this one get factored together, that should be the same. So let's find out. This was zeroed. So these at the bearing should be the same, but 41 millimeters, 41 millimeters. Here we're at 33 millimeters. Here we are at 34, and then here, let's find out, 33.8, because there's no shift down. 33.7. So it looks like they are actually just a little bit thicker all the way down. You can also tell the splines here are raised up and the splines here are smooth. So that's where that extra thickness is coming from. It's definitely interesting. Good quality stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do, before we get started actually, if anybody wants ARP wheel studs, they were pressed into the Spicer axles. Did not work out. I'm going to show you in a second. I popped one of these out. This is a stock axle size. Obviously, they're stock. Popped one of these out, and I can't return these because I used them. However, it barely took off any material, and when I popped these in here, they still felt very tight. So if you want any of these, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll literally, I mean, if you want to pay for shipping, that's cool. These are $170 worth of wheel studs. I just literally can't use them. You do need to get different lug nuts. I'm using these. So that's what it is. If you want them, let me know. First come, first serve. I'll put it in the comments if they're gone. Now let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we got to do, I did measure these out, and these are actually the proper lengths where the Spicers were not. I tried, trust me, I tried to make them fit. They were not going to fit. So what we're going to go ahead and do first is pop on our wheel studs. We're going to press those in, and then we're going to pop on our little reluctor rings and put them in the car. Pretty straightforward. Let's get started. Just got our guy in here. I'm using just a ball joint press to pop them in, and these are the 0.25 or 625 curl, which is the size of this part right here. The reason I can't use the ARP is these are a 0.15, I believe. Please don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. Or 0.615, I think. And they're the stock size. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen. So that's how we got to use the Moser ones. These things are way harder to get than the other ones. On the bright side, they should be pretty strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of these, and then I'll meet you back up with you when we're done. Might be no kidding, but if you got a vise, use the vise, because that definitely makes life easier. As you can see, pressed in. So that's the way I'd do it. Wheel studs are on. Next thing we got to do is get these reluctor rings on for ABS, brake sensors, and all that crap. So pretty much all you do is set her down, and then I use my ball joint press again, slide it over top, and I'll smack this guy with a hammer to get it to seat properly. It worked because these things are currently freezing cold. That was also freezing cold. Now it's hot. It expanded a little bit. Hop down there a lot easier. It's giving me some serious problems. So one's on. Now let's go ahead and pop the other one on. This axle, same method. Pops on like that. We should be good to go. Here we are over at the car. There's my axle. I have some white paint on here because I was trying to figure out where it was rubbing with the other axles. Just don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. And let's take you into the car and let's get working. I'm gonna go slide this axle in. Slide our C-clip in. Blam. Rotate her a little bit so she don't fall out. There we go. She's in. One down, just slide her back That way, not coming out. Let's see if I can get the other side in. Well, that was easy. So now what we got to do is put together the rest of everything. So I'm going to go and throw you guys on time lapse as I reassemble this. I've done it enough times at this point that I'm sure you guys are bored, so we'll throw some time lapse on and get her together. So let's go. Believe it or not, that's just about all of the rear end that there is to get put back together. All we got to do now is really throw on the wheels. I got to tighten down the drive shaft bolts to make sure they're good. Tighten up that diff brace, and then we're going to put the cover back on, fill it with fluid, and she'll be good to go. So I'm going to fill it with fluid tomorrow just because you got to wait 24 hours for this gasket stuff to set all the way and seal. It's also cold out, so I want to make sure I don't have any leaks or anything. But making progress. Because these are a 3-inch long lug nut, but that's fine with me. These are actually required by NHRA for drag racing rules. Not that I really pay any close attention to it, but it's kind of a cool thing. Basically, the idea is you want to have an open-ended lug nut per the requirements, because I want to make sure that your studs are actually threading all the way through the nut, so you're being able to use this whole thing to hold it on, which is awesome. So one other cool little benefit is these drop down a size and socket. So now instead of using my crappy star points, I can use a full-on 19mm 5-point, get a good hold on there, make sure everything's torqued down. So we're going to pop these on real quick and check out how they look. There we have it, back together. And if you're still here, definitely had a bit of an oopsie. It got down to freezing yesterday, hit basically exactly 32, and I run water in this thing, which is super not good for that. So I didn't catch it. The weather said it's going to be 36. So I'm going to drain this out real quick, throw some coolant in there, circulate it real quick with the intercooler pump, and just kind of make sure we have some coolant in this thing, because what happens is water will freeze, and it's happened to the previous owner, freaking cracked his intercooler core, the one under there. I thought he cracked the AFCO dual fan heat exchanger. I was mistaken, so that's terrifying. Definitely going to make sure that doesn't happen. So empty, I'm going to grab some coolant that we took out of here, throw it in, circulate it, we should be good to go. But just good grief, guys, stuff like this. all I got to do is basically put some diff fluid back in there and she'll be good to go. Get her down. I did learn some more stuff about the Tokiko D-Spec shocks. Basically, I was misunderstanding how those things were supposed to be adjusted. So looking at the manual, because there really isn't a good, at least I don't know how to read that thing properly. Basically it says you should start full soft for front and rear for drag or rear wheel drive, drag racing car. However, the rear, and I quote, should not be set soft enough to allow wheel hop, but it should be soft enough to let the axle drop a little bit and catch, right? So apparently the softer it is, the more likely it'll wheel hop, which is what I was trying to avoid. I did not understand that. So next time we go out, I gotta stiffen up the rear shocks, and that should eliminate a lot of our rear hop basically by switching to the harder setting, which will make it more difficult for the axle to extend and compress quickly. And hopefully that should help out with our wheel hop issue that we were having. And yeah, also we got to take out the front sway bar. I think it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of 60-foots we can get now. I feel a lot more confident in the rear end now that it's back together. So it's going to be a good time, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, comment down below. Feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.